Oh, yeah. Yes, can you hear us now? Yes?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, guys.
We just gave out all the lotto numbers, so.
Okay, we will now, if there aren't any other announcements, we will move on to our informational update section of the meeting. Okay, first up, we have our business development organizations. Angel, do we have any?
Yes, we have Carrie King, and we have my, Vila Plana from Minnesota.
Okay, so I'll call on Carrie first. Hi, Carrie.
Hi. I will be really, really brief. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Oh, there. Okay, hi. So really, really quickly, I'm just going to give you the very quick synopsis. We are currently in the midst of at Uptown. I'm Carrie King from Uptown Grand Central. We're currently in the midst of a campaign to start a business improvement district for East 125th Street and the blocks surrounding East 125th. And the thing you need to know is our next and final public meeting is this coming Tuesday, the 27th, at the Caribbean Cultural Center at 10 a.m. This is really for organizations, tenants, property owners that are in the green map. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. It's very specific map that would be the district. And so right now we're collecting statements of support. We already had one public meeting. This is the second public meeting. And the effort is going pretty well thus far. We've got to judge it based on a bunch of different metrics, including the total number of tax lots, the total number of tenants, the total number of property owners, the total number of residents, the total number of assessed value. But on all those different metrics, we're kind of at different numbers, but are showing a lot of support. The thing that I learned from the first public meeting is there's a lot of new tenants that are coming in and they want to connect to the community. So we had a lot of new people that came out. We did a direct mailing to everybody in the district, and we had a lot of new people come out that wanted to get involved, which I think is great from the bid perspective, from the community board perspective, from everybody's perspective. So there's people that want to be a part of the community, which is great. So that'll be our last meeting. If you are in the district, please make sure to come out and or just sign. Easily, you can just sign your statement of support right there on the website. Click the button, sign. It takes 2 seconds. So that's the update on that. And then also, we're a little bit slower over the winter in terms of public events, but are going to be hosting a celebration at Elmendorf Reformed Church on March the 3rd. It's a Sunday. Elmendorf Reformed Church, you may have heard, is the home church of the Harlem African Burial Ground. It's the oldest church in Harlem, dating to 1660. And has the records of a number of people that were buried at the burial ground. So it's going to be a jazz, gospel, blues concert in recognition of Black history, hosted by Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala. And there's going to be information there as well about the burial ground, because there's a lot of people that still don't know about it and are very curious about it. So Angel, I'll send you that too for the newsletter. So those are my two big updates. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Carrie. You said
Thank you.
you put the link in the chat for where we can show our support for the 125th Street bid, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions from our committee members? Seeing none. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Carrie. You could.
We'll move on to, you said Maya?
So we have Maya and Michelle from Union Cell.
Okay, so I'll go to Michelle next for, I'm not sure who came in, was their hand first.
Hi, everyone. Hi to Sal. Carrie, I want information on that jazz concert. That's awesome. So really briefly, our workforce development program starts on Monday. That's the one, the culinary training I had mentioned a few months ago. Again, this is like a really holistic workforce development program. We're providing in-kitchen training from a professional chef. We provide the food certificate classroom training. We also provide training for a national federation certificate. We're providing Metro cards, financial literacy component, and a mental wellness component to the group. And then upon completion, graduation, we're also going to connect them with some small businesses. The students get their knife set, they get chef uniforms. It's a really good program and we hope to get them on a journey to a career path. I know Giselle and James are two of our small businesses who we hope to connect our young people, our students to when the program ends. We have the feasibility study I mentioned before. That's going to start sometime, hopefully in March. And so we'll have more information and details for you on what that will entail. But basically, the feasibility study is a study on the theaters in East Harlem. And how, not only the theaters, but the cultural institutions and how we can help them either maximize their revenue or help them assess what kind of renovation they need to build more programming. And that will be a community-led project, so we'll be reaching out to, of course, Eugene to talk to him first and make sure we're doing the right thing, but then to the community to make sure that we hear from them and we have their input. Metropolitan Hospital, we're doing a procurement workshop where they're going to train our small businesses on how to be suppliers to Metropolitan. That's happening March 4th, I believe. Trying to run through this fast. Only 3 more things. Meet and greet. That's it's going to be at El Barista, and that's the intentional meeting between small businesses and our anchor institutions. We hope to have them there to build relationships and again, hopefully get them to become suppliers to our anchors here. Our East Harlem Spring campaign will be out next month, where we have a map on places to visit, things to do in East Harlem, and we highlight different small businesses and cultural institutions. Our incubator space will be opening sometime in April along 116th Street, where the small businesses, especially those who are mom and pops, to have the space to have meetings, come if they need any kind of support, make copies for trainings and things of that nature. And lastly, we held training with Link NYC for our small businesses to learn how to sign up to get either free or low cost advertising on our Link NYC systems. And I saw a couple that signed up already and have their ads on the street. So that's really exciting. And lastly, Maya, who is an amazing community individual, started at Union Settlement as the Deputy Director of Economic Development and Government Affairs. So just wanted to share that.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle. I have 2 questions before I open it up to board members. So you said the incubator space is opening up in April for the culinary training. Have you started taking applications for people or not yet?
We have, the program starts Monday, so if you have anyone, please share it and let us know. It's still open and it starts Monday. And we'll be working with eTerra Kitchen as well. We're using their kitchen.
And the anchor meeting at El Barista is at, can you just repeat the date and time?
Maya, do you know the date offhand? It's in March 18th at 5 o'clock. I'll send you the flyer, Giselle. I'll send to Angel all the flyers.
Thank you, Michelle. I have 2 questions for the board, for our committee members, Anne Marie.
Hi, Michelle. How are
Hi,
you?
Ann. How are you?
Maya is awesome. She's worked with us with Borinquen. So what did you mean by become suppliers for Metropolitan Hospital?
To become vendors, to sell their products, whether it's catering, whether it's someone who does websites, whatever it is, just to become vendors to the hospital.
Okay, thank you.
Eugene?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michelle, two questions. One, can I attend the training, but I don't want a job, I just wanna go to the mental health part?
Well, you're free to come over here anytime. We have the access to it, well, not 24-hour access, but anytime during 9 to 5.
Yeah, I need that. Second question is, do you have any, you remember you made maps about the restaurants in the community?
Yeah.
But where can I get my hands on a few of those maps?
You want physical maps?
Yeah,
So I can bring you, I can meet you and give you some maps.
yeah, to get you out of your office is like a whole day affair. There's no place that you have them stopped or something?
In
Can we-
in the office, I can drop them off to Angel, if that's easier.
That's good, yes,
Okay, I'll do that.
thank you.
Vinny?
Hey, Michelle, thank you for that. Question on the incubator space. How do all small businesses lock in space? Is there a calendar that's gonna be open? Do they connect to the website and book in slots? I'm sure there's space, but limited space. So how's that being kind of administered?
So it's really, really limited. It's only like one private office. It'll be like a high cube. The rest is communal. So we'll have a communal table, big table in the middle and some desks off to the side, but only one space where you could have a private meeting. So it's kind of like a cube setup, but it's a tall, has a tall cubes.
How do they lock in time for it? How's that?
Well, after we open, then we'll have a calendar online of, you know, if they schedule the times to meet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'm sorry, is it free?
Yes,
Where is it?
it's on 116. It'll be inside Corsi.
Yeah, okay.
Any more questions? No, seeing none. Thank you, Michelle, again.
You're welcome.
Move on to Maya now. Hi, Maya.
Hey everyone, just very happy to join, be working with Michelle. And yeah, we'll be joining again to keep you all updated of everything next month.
We have Ulysses Grosso with Workforce One.
Hi, Ulysses.
Great to see everyone tonight. Thank you for having me here today. I just wanted to update everyone on some of the Upper Manhattan Workforce One Career Center, what's going on with that. So in case you don't know, I think that I sent it out to most of the partners. The 125th Street Workforce One is getting renovated. And the renovations are almost finished. So we're happy about that. And hopefully we'll be back soon into a brand new office at 125th at 215 West 125th. I want to thank the community, Michelle, Union Settlement and Strive, a lot of the East Harlem partners that have worked with us in making sure that they have space and we have space to be at, and have our recruiters to make sure that we don't miss a beat in East Harlem. So a lot is going on in East Harlem. On the 23rd, we have a recruitment event at Urban Outbound at 111th Street on the east side. We're working with NYCHA, Reese. We're going to have our recruiters there recruiting for the jobs that we have currently at the center. One of our partners, being NYCHA, has made sure that we're reaching out to the East Harlem community and those that are not in NYCHA to make sure that we're taking advantage of the opportunities in the center. We have expedited our services, our intro to services, to make sure that it's bilingual for the new Americans. So we added some introduction to services so they can come in and meet with our career advisors and those that have work authorization, you know, if they're looking for work, that we can assist them with that as well. So a lot of different changes, a lot going on. We have made sure that we pivot to assist the community at large, but we can't do it alone. So as the community partner director, I'm so excited that we've had so many strong partnerships, including Committee Board 11 in the past, that's made us present within the community.
Thank you, Ulysses.
And Michelle, I want to give a shout out to Hilda Cortez, who's wonderful, always available for me, and you know, really appreciate the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. Ulysses, what company are you representing? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Workforce One.
Workforce One. Okay,
Yeah.
and these, the recruitment are for what kind of positions? Full-time, part-time?
Yeah, full-time, part-time positions. We're going to be screening people to just let you know some of the jobs that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing CVS team members. We're going to do Fresh Direct, personal shoppers. These are full-time work. Juice generation, parking attendants at Edison Park East. So what we're trying to do is diversify, making sure that we have a diversified portfolio of jobs, because the different people have different skills and different interests. We take into consideration that in this type of job market, a lot of people are making decisions, you know, travel time, if they work at nights, you know, it's not like before the pandemic where people would just take a job. Now people are much more, want a lot more information on what the job expects and schedule, whether it's night or travel, whether it's far. Sometimes, you know, that's a big consideration for them. But we'll have 2 recruiters on site on February 23rd between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. at Urban Outbound at 111. I'll send the flyer. If I have an Angel, I will send you the flyer.
Okay, please do. And let us know if they have to bring anything with them, like a resume or some type of reference or something, just so, I'm sure it says it on the flyer, but just in case for the record.
Yeah, so one of the things I know is that sometimes people come and they don't have a resume and things like that. So we're going to have a career advisor on site as well, that don't have that, so we can assist them as well. And most people, you know, I speak Spanish, I will be there. And we also have another person that speaks Spanish as well. So we have some bilingual people there.
Great. Okay, we have a question from one of our board members, Jenny.
Thank you. So, for the Work One centers, can you tell us in terms of participation, how many people you guys are servicing? And of those, pretty much like annual or some type of measure of those that are from East Harlem? And is there any, I know this was a discussion a few years ago, but is there any updated information or discussions around a center here in East Harlem?
So, Vinny, you know, those are both questions I will have to defer to Department of Small Business Services to answer. Like, that's data questions that they could probably get that, but I will definitely them along the questions on both the East Harlem Center that I know you were talking about, right, a couple of years ago, that was right previous to the pandemic, and also the data on the East Harlem residents and things like that. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anne Marie.
Please make sure you send us a flyer regarding the recruitment event.
Yes,
Thank
I will. Absolutely.
Any more questions? Okay, well, Ulysses, we hope to see you more frequently in our meetings. We love the updates and we definitely want to stay in tune with what your organization is doing. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
So I don't recognize any of the national arts institutions, but we did get an email earlier this week from Chelsea Payot with El Museo, notifying us that she's transitioning out of El Museo. This is her last week there. She's on the call today. I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, we hope to hear from her before she leaves. If there, oh, Eugene?
I do represent an arts organization. My company is World Barrio Theater Group. We're the oldest theater group in East Harlem, by the way. And I started composing a letter to the mayor because I attended the meeting about the Julio Movements at here on Monday. And I started composing a letter to the mayor, which I'd like to share with you. So here we go. Dear Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to know that I'm his friend. I write to, not for long. I write to alert you to the fact that the people of El Barrio who supported you in the last election have a huge problem with the way the city has mismanaged the Julia de Burgos Latino Cultural Center. That's the whole title. You should know that the city, New York City Economic Development Corporation has managed the facility since Rudy was mayor, and that EDC's tenure as manager has been a complete failure. The JDB, the Julia de Burgos, is an abject failure as a cultural center because there is little or no cultural program being over half of the building. It is a miserable failure as a rental asset, which is the way EDC looks at it, as it is carrying a net deficit of $800,000. And most importantly, it is an epic failure as a lucrative cultural destination for the community. You should know that because the Hispanic Federation abandoned their lease with EDC, Deputy Speaker Ayala recently held an extremely well-attended town hall meeting with EDC at the JDB to discuss the future of the building. EDC, citing a myriad of bureaucratic reasons, informed that there will be no changes as to how, why, or who manages the center, which I remind you is a complete failure. Which means that the Heritage School that was shoehorned into the building by Rudy as the anchor tenant for the building, a move that in my opinion was intended to sabotage the Dinklage project, will remain in the facility that has no cafeteria, no gym, inadequate emergency exits, and receives a line item in their budget for rent from DOE, unlike any other tenant in the building. Not to mention the fact that it's not a cultural institution in a cultural building. And that in some nebulous future date, an RFP would be offered to duplicate the failures of the Hispanic Federation to provide regular cultural program for the Miriam Colo Valle Playhouse in the building or the community room housed in the center, which means that JDB will continue to remain dark every night, which is unacceptable. Mr. Mayor, El Barrio needs a fair new deal. A fair new deal that finds a suitable new home for the school. A fair new deal that replaces EDC as manager of the building with the Department of Cultural Affairs as planned. A fair new deal that programs the Miriam Colo Valle Playhouse at least 3 nights a week. A fair new deal that provides long-term leases for the long-term tenants of the building and provides them with access to the community room and the playhouse. Hey, you could even raise the rent for the organizations in the building to the community room if you get DCA to pay the rent. They can raise it all they want. Which they do for the school on the top floor. And lastly, but most important, in anticipation of the school moving, everybody in the city knows that the school is gonna move at some point in time. So in anticipation of that move, a fair new deal that makes EDC work with the community to put forth an economic development proposal that makes the JDB a significant cultural tourism destination, period. When you consider the fact that the most unifying issue in El Barrio is that everyone believes the JDB should be open and providing regular programming, I urge you in the strongest possible terms to get involved. Any questions? Second thing about cultural organizations, First Friday is coming up at PS 109, and they hold a dance there, which I think costs $10-15. You should all go. That sounds up.
Thank you for the update, I appreciate
I have a
that.
question.
Justin?
Is there anything, you've written, this letter on behalf of yourself and your organization?
Yes.
Your organization, is there an ask of the committee or other than to hear, at this point?
Oh, at this point in time, I think the committee should really get involved in whatever the councilwoman decides to do, to have meetings about the cultural center. Like I said, standing room only, I have not seen, a meeting like that unless there was a big fight at the meeting. And the only people who were fighting it was EDC shares. And I say this, EDC has been in charge of that building for 20-something years. The Economic Development Corporation of the city of New York has been in charge of this cultural building for 20 years and never put forth an economic development proposal for the building, for the community. All they do is just sit there and collect rents. That nobody wants to pay. So they have an $800,000 deficit.
If somebody wants.
Well, I don't know if you read, when the mayor was going for his campaigning, he added a 100-step plan to make this New York City better. And part of that was focusing on tourism and things of that nature, so you should look that up to add that to your letter.
That is an accepted fact that cultural tourism is one of the biggest money makers for any community. And show me the cultural tourism plan. Anybody have a better plan? Someone in the pocket?
Yeah, I want to, back and say something. And Eugene knows it better than anybody else. When you don't give, an institution a lead, they cannot get money from foundations. Okay? Number two, when you don't advertise, and there's no way to advertise, you know, they don't have a leg to stand on. When there's not money given to the organization to bring in the traffic, then we fail the community. So it has been, I agree with him, they have tried like 3 or 4 different economic development over the past years. They have tried 3 or 4 different ways to do nothing, because at the end of the day, they tie up the hands of the organizations, and then they say, you see, it's a failure. They cannot manage themselves. So we have come out with a 3-year project, if I might say. You know, we're going to try to stabilize the fathers and the founders of Julia de Burgos. It wasn't the school. So, okay. And after 20-something years, they still don't have a lease. But Luis Miranda came in and got a 10-year lease. Something doesn't make sense.
On a sole source contract too.
Yes, but they don't do sole source. You remember
That's what they
this
said.
that?
That's
Which
what they
was an
said.
insult, by the way, but that's the thing. Because we know the story, because we've been there since day one. You know, I wasn't kidding when I said he used to babysit from the okay. So the second part is, once we stabilize that area, we want the rooms that were taken away from us and give it to the school. Because at what point does Julia de Burgos stop being a cultural center? They gave us information that the school has 48% and that the culture organizations have 52, but they were counting on someone who's been out of that building for the
For the
last
last 15 years.
15 years. That was the Miriam and Regones.
Yeah, Pregones and shit, I was in the book.
They'll come back. So my point is that in order for us, we want to get back the expenses that were taken from us without having a sole source. Economic development says they're going to agree with it, they're looking into it. And they actually shook my hand on that because they know that I got it. So my point is, if the school now has 50% of the building, and I agree with you, think it is no longer a cultural center. So they're turning off. Then the last of it, once we settle for the leases, which they say they will look into it and they will give them, and the leases will be from this point at this money up to 10 years. That's fine. We want to pay the leases. And then after that is done and we get the spaces back, and then we get all the elected officials to support the institutions that have never supported, even the senator who is supposed to be his cup of tea is there, but that's the story for the day. So the last year of it is, once we stabilize the leases, we stabilize and take back the community rooms that belongs to us, give it to the community. And not for nothing, but this man is very talented and he can make money in that place. But he's not giving the opportunity. That's the bottleneck.
Your name is?
Yeah, Federico Colon. And then the last piece will be, once we settle that down, we want to have site control. Because then we have site control, then we will have our own cultural sector. And I know we're playing with different, models to see how we can do the sustainability. But we could do this. And we're going to Albany, and then we're going to Washington. Also, I can't say lobbying, because then I have to register myself as a lobbyist. I don't want to be lobbyist. But we're working on it. The congressman supporting us, everybody's supporting us. This is the first time that the community is behind the sector. And I do not want any elected officials to be involved in the cultural part of it, because then that's what we have gone wrong for the last few years.
Thank you,
So,
Federico.
thank you.
I'm assuming that you and Eugene know each other, you have contact information.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely a sit down with perhaps maybe organizations that are already like Michelle's doing a feasibility grant. I think these are all great ideas. We can all sit, get connected, talk about it and see how, we can be of help to you guys and of course you moving forward. All right, so thank you again for attending
Thank
and
you
we'll
for.
get your information. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, yes.
If I may, I don't know how to proceed from now, which is why I decided to share my letter to the mayor with you. And I look to you to tell me, what should we do now? Because, as far as I can see, they don't want to do anything.
Social media, baby. I say this and I say this very respectfully. Generational ties change. And if we don't adapt to those ties and drown it, right? It's like a surfer trying to stay afloat when the waves are coming. So if you're not using the power of social media, right, X, if you're not using Instagram, TikTok, if you're not getting people who are involved and like in this communal work, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, then you're not reaching a larger audience. You're still stuck with the people. It's like when people are walking by my restaurant, right? If they're older and I don't have a sign out, they don't know the specials I have. If they're young, I'm good, I capture that audience, but then I'm still missing a very demographic, and that's just reverse for you. If it was me, I'd say it very candidly, without hesitation, I don't personally like the mayor, that's just like, it's just straight up. And I could care less for like impacting his reputation, but the truth is, if there's something being done and he's supposed to represent us, and he did come to a body of seeking a body support, seeking a body of love, and he received it openly, then I think it's a point and a matter of you just reaching out, like, and I'm happy to help you, like, find some influencers that can come in, check out the space, but like, just put it out there, like, what you got to do is like,
That's why I wrote the letter.
yeah.
Thank you, guys. We're gonna keep it moving.
That's good.
Jessica has a question for you.
Hello.
And two hands raised. Hold on just a minute, Oliver. I'm going to recognize a board member and then I'll recognize the hands in the chat.
Thank you.
Eugene, were there takeaways from the meeting with, kind of held by the meeting held by Councilmember Ayala on Monday? Were there next steps? Were there?
Basically, what she said was that she wanted to have a series of meetings with the community to decide what the RFP would look like. That's why I think we should get involved in that.
Yeah, but we have the RP breakfast coming, a legislative
Yeah.
breakfast on the 24th at 10 o'clock in room 103.
We should.
Can you say that again?
Can you say that
There's an RFP breakfast?
There is a legislative breakfast that we have in room 103. And it's gonna be on the 24th at 10 a.m. We already confirmed, Congressman Espaillat and Councilwoman Ayala. And we are, trying to reach out for the rest.
Okay.
And you guys are welcome.
And this is going to be held where?
At the board was.
At the board, yeah, okay.
And this is open to everybody,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and it's a Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, I am gonna recognize Alida.
Hi, yes, Alida. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry. I was supposed to be in person. This is actually my first time attending the meeting. So I was just listening just to kind of have an idea to make sure I'm in the right place. So I'm the founder and the CEO of a nonprofit called Healing Hands. And
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're gonna move on to to you. I just wanna make sure that we end with Eugene. Is the
Oh,
question?
okay, sure.
Eugene? Okay, so we'll get right back to you, Alida. Okay, so thank you, Eugene, for that information. We're gonna move on to our presentations and discussion portion of the meeting. We have, the first part, which is our small business spotlight. We have James Gonzalez from La Fonda Restaurant, and you have the floor.
Alright, sweet, so, I think the best way to do this time is really introducing myself as how I became a part of Honda. I was a customer first, like many people in my body, and trying to shorten it. Or and I became really close friends. When I became the owner of La Fonda was just due to a few circumstances that just led me into the position I'm in now. Unfortunately, you know, and I say this openly publicly, Jorge Ayala, the founder of La Fonda Boricua, people know his love and institution in the barrio, had a stroke last January, which led to an early dementia. And that's essentially it from there. So I managed the place. I've actually been the one helping assist it since the ending of 2018, and not to toot my own horn, but I believe in being confident. I'm the reason the restaurant still exists today, because for me, it matters. It matters to have a Puerto Rican institution for the community. So much that we've done many different shows there. We've worked with a lot of organizations, we worked with other restaurants. Our food is delicious. We had a few hiccups here and there, but that happens when you're changing chefs. What else? Weekend, you gotta follow us on Instagram, up on the NYC if you're not, so you can see the different events and shows we do. We have a beautiful backyard space that was an addition to the restaurant. We do rent out our facilities, you know, to businesses, to people, to organizations. We cater, I go down the list, but focus really was to just say who I am. So I believe in the restaurant. I left corporate world to be in this place. I'm not from Ebadi, I'm from the Bronx, but if you're Puerto Rican from New York City, then a barrio is a barrio. Doesn't matter what street you're on. That being said, we also introduced and we brought along Black Rican Vegan because I believe in growing our own people. She is the first Afro-Rican to do Afro-Rican vegan soul food, to the point that she's not only recognized across the country, she's recognized by a lot of celebrities. That's how she started off. And she's in our restaurant every Monday and then shared space with our kitchen on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Hopefully she sticks to Sundays brunches. It's been a big asset to us, not just because we're getting customers as well, but also because there's a huge deficit in vegan food in the barrio. On top of that, we do something on Fridays, which is more of a private thing. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it yet, but definitely check us out to see what we do on Fridays. That is RSVP only. Try not to pitch myself in that sense. I really want people to know, like, if you're coming to here to eat, it's more of an authentic place. Our sofritas still made from scratch. A lot of our food is done in-house. A big thing, I work for my employees. My employees work for the guests, so I would never take sides with guests, unfortunately. Without talking to my employees and my cameras. I say that openly because I get backlash for it, but the truth is, my long-term goal is to make sure my employees own the restaurant. So after 3 years, each employee has the opportunity to earn equity in the restaurant to the point where I someday have them own the entire restaurant. And I do that primarily because when Jorge had the restaurant, he built such a legacy, but unfortunately, he didn't build future for his team members. So when the restaurant closed for 1 year, through the renovation, all the other legal jargon that happened around that time, you know, there was no plan, so a lot of people left. And I believe that restaurants are not the owners that just put the money in. Restaurants are the employees. Restaurants are the kitchen staff. Restaurants are the wait staff. You know, the labor love that goes behind that. So I think I'm one of very, very few restaurants in New York City and the United States that is doing this. And I love working with the community. I've done things with yourself, I've done things with Yahweh, I've done things with Anne-Marie, I've done things with a lot of organizations that, you know, it's to make it a communal space. So even artwork, I would love to hang up more artwork on the walls.
I happen to know a few arts,
You know, so that'd be nice.
but I don't wanna take down what Hiram put up.
No, that was taken down after this, that's unfortunate, but. The last thing I would say is, we care about the quality that we put in our food. We do plan on having a happy hour that's a little more aggressive without lessening the quality. Same with lunch specials. We plan on having lunch specials to try to feed the community. And it'll be smaller portions, just because again, I don't wanna reduce the quality. I believe the hindrance that Puerto Ricans and a lot of Latinos have, but I'm speaking towards Puerto Ricans specifically, is that we don't value our food. We don't value the cuisine, we don't put respect on it, and I'm changing that. So if you come to my restaurant, there's a presentation that looks prettier, the food tastes different, the price point is where it's at. Just know there's a lot of love that goes behind it. So, and my mom's been helping out a lot too, so she's Puerto Rican from Puerto Rico.
Thank you, James, thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
I have one question, so if I was to go into La Fonda, what plate could you recommend for me to sit down and order and eat?
So there's 3.
Only one, because I'm.
So one poultry.
No, there's 3 that's always like in line. So you have the pollo guisado, bistec encebollado, and mofongo de camarones.
Hold on, I'm taking
Do
notes.
you have white meat in the pollo guisado?
It's no, like, it's a quarter leg, so there's something white in there.
Great. Any questions from our board members?
When we start doing theater at the Julia de Budo, which is down the block here, we usually, for my company, we start at 7 and end around 9. And in the last time we did that, I sent people to your restaurant, it was closed. So we would like to coordinate when we finally do get in there, so that when we close, we can send folks to your restaurant.
Yeah, we're closing at 9:30 on weekdays now. 10 PM on Fridays, 10:30 on Saturday kitchen. We only close early because we're short staffed, and so, and I pay them, you know, legal or above legal minimum wage. So if there's no business coming in, I can't do it, but if this happens, or when it happens, I should say, I'm happy to be like, hey, guys, let's.
We'll put your restaurant in the program.
Yeah.
Can you just say the number on the record so people know how to contact? you?
Oh, yes, so the address is 169 East 106th Street, New York, New York, 10029 storefront, the phone number 212-410-7292, the Instagram, all the social media, TikTok, Facebook, it's La Fonda NYC, one word, there is an imposter, so if you see that, with the underscore, it's not us, La Fonda NYC.
One word, okay.
Just to let you know, we usually work Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday brunch. So Friday and Saturday, like 9 o'clock,
Yeah, the kitchen closes at 10 on
and
Friday.
we let out 100 people, but like, if we fill the place.
Okay, I'm gonna recognize Oliver and, thank you, James, thank you again. Oliver and Alida, do you have any questions for James?
Not for James. My question was about the Julia del Burgos Theater, but I want to send my hellos to James. And James and I worked together on a commercial that we did for Jib Bean, doing Edwin Diaz from the Mets, and it also had Mr. Benjamin De Jesus, director. And so my question is about the Julia del Burgos Theater. Who can I contact in order to rent or try to connect the dots so that we could have programming there? I brought this idea to Caridad de la Luz. She's executive director, you all know, of the New Yorican Poets Cafe. She does a lot of programming. And so I think that someone like that will be great to jumpstart the momentum that the theater needs in order for it to start getting people in and out. And especially now that March is coming around the corner and April's poetry month, there's just so many potential things that could come down the pipeline, especially for the spring and the summer. So I want to try to see if I could get the contact information, or if anyone knows, what it costs to rent it for, short term, long term, those, that information would be great. So, and then that way I could send it to some of my contacts, and maybe we could get the ball rolling with that. That was my question. Thank you.
I'm going to leave that question to Angel. Angel, if you can, give him better information, then I know I can.
Yeah,
I can send
the point of the point of contact for currently for that space is Fernando Ortiz with New York City Economic Development Corporation. And his email is fortiz@edc.nyc.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What you have to know, that we're trying to get that theater for free. There's no reason for them to charge rent for that space. The city doesn't make any money on it now, and then they want us to pay, downtown prices for downtown prices for uptown facilities.
Okay, thank you, Eugene.
And I know Calidad.
Let's.
Thank
Alida, do you have a question for James?
Yes, thank you, actually. I wanted to ask, I heard that you mentioned that it does rent a space sometimes. Or do you rent a space for organization for events, or for just like food related events?
We rent it for, we could rent it for anything. If you rent the space and you want food provided, the catch is gonna be you buy food from me. But we rent it, and we figure out budgets on everyone, and we try to be very generous on the people's budget, because when the restaurant was built, it's been for the community. So when we did the backyard was to remain for the community. So I could be making a lot more money, but I choose to do what's good, so everyone benefits from it more than anything else. So if you're looking to do like an event where you host a meeting or you do a fundraiser, yeah, feel free to reach out. Happy to chat.
Can you, I don't have access to the chat, but do you mind repeating your phone number again?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the business line, and then they can send you my cell, just because I don't want to remind myself. It's 212.
Okay.
410. 7292.
I'm sorry, 72?
92. Or if
Thank
you
you.
want the Instagram, NYC, you can message me there directly. I still manage that for now.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. If there are no more questions for James, we'll move on to our next small business spotlight. C. Holland is also a restaurateur in East Harlem. She's not here right now, correct, Angel? But we will definitely continue to invite other small businesses to highlight their, their business here with us, for the community to know that they're there. Yes.
You should be a spotlight, because she was on TV the other day, which was really a nice article about what is it, the karaoke night, yeah.
It was a nice piece. Thank you, I appreciate that.
So why do you have the meetings on Tuesday when you have karaoke night on Wednesday?
There you go. Okay, so, we wanted, DOT to come, we've been trying to get them over here, but they had a switch of staff membering, and now they're kind of just, I guess, getting things together, so they are not able to make it today once again. But I just wanna give at least some information about the dining, for restaurants, the dining out NYC. So on Monday, February 26th at 11 a.m., there is an info session online. So if you're not able to, if you want to just listen in and listen to the, pretty much like a Q&A session, and it's followed by a presentation. NYC DOT and NYC Department of Small Business Services are going to be on that. So if you're interested in that, I'll give the information to Angel. Like I said, I get these emails, so you guys can, I'll forward the email to Angel, and then he can, if you're interested in it, he'll forward it to you. They have released a set of guidelines. Restaurants can be able to apply for the roadway and sidewalk cafes in March of this year. And they have like all step-by-step guides for what is gonna be required for the roadway and sidewalk cafes. You can see it, you can view it online, they have pictures, everything. The deadline to apply is gonna be August 3rd, 2024. So if you know of a restaurant that can benefit from this, and is willing to, you know, obviously do it the right way, please, let them know that they can start applying in March. And they should definitely check out the guidelines that are already posted online. And then hopefully we'll have some type of Q&A with DOT next month here with us. Okay, we're gonna move on to Fernando Ortiz from NYC EDC.
Fernando called out, he's ill, he'll be here next month.
Okay, he'll be here next month to discuss the Julia de Burgos Cultural Center. Okay, let's quickly shift gears. We are going to, let me just call, Alida, did you wanna talk about something? Did you have a business that you wanted to highlight or an organization that you're representing before I move on to like our committee work?
Please, yes. I'm not sure. I think I did send some flyers, but I'm not sure if you guys received them. And I'm just gonna ask you what email address I should use if I have some materials to share.
Can she share them with you, Angel, or would you prefer? Okay, so Angel's going to put the email that you can use in the chat now.
Okay. So
this is-
okay, thank you. So my name is Alida Chikambu and I'm representing Healing Hands, which is survivor-owned and led nonprofit organization. We service survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and commercial sexual exploitation. We've been in New York City we launched like 7 years ago, but thank God now we had a grant from the Department of Social Services. Now we have built some capacity and we were able to provide several programs to the community. So what I would like to share tonight is one program that we have that's gonna start next month in March, which is it's a survivor leadership program. We provide entrepreneurship training. Those are for survivors and specifically those who are undocumented, to secure some skills to be able to have some money or take care of their families. So that program is called My Biz, B-I-Z. It will be provided every Saturday starting March 9th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Our location is 152nd East 118. And the best way to reach out to us for more information or just for enrollment is to text or call 862-227-3134. Again, 862-227-3134. So that's the big thing for us right now. March being Women's Month and April Sexual Assault Month. So we have a lot of events also for survivors and just the community in general. We do serve male, female, no matter the gender. We are culturally specific, so most of our staff members, we speak about 10 languages, including French, Asian Creole, Spanish, Lingala, Kikongo. Most of those languages are from Central and West Africa. And that was what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Alida, thank you so much for sharing that information. We hope to see your flyer.
I will definitely do that. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna shift gears. We're going to look at our preliminary budget register that was released. And we have to start preparing comments to be submitted to our DSN committee for inclusion in the board's written response to the mayor. So we should take a look at it. I'll give you guys a few moments. Should have some type of conversation and maybe some comments to end when she brings us back to DSN.
That's tomorrow, the meetings.
Giselle, can you clarify, it would be helpful to call out what, maybe by the priority number, which ones were ours?
Yeah, so I have that here. 14, 15, 2. I don't want. 14, but I'm not sure if this is in the same order, because this was taken from our last, from what Angel gave us last, but.
I got it. I got it, Giselle.
You got it? Thank you.
So it's 17 for capital, so at the beginning, 17, 18, 20, 21.
18, 20, 21.
Yes, and for expense, 4, 13, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39.
17, 18, what?
Hold on.
17, 18.
19, 20.
What you said, 17, 18?
It's a lot of things. Where did you pull? For the capital,
Yeah.
because at the beginning of the printout, 17, 18, 20, and 21.
Can we go through each one by one? Register the response?
Okay, then we'll do 17 first.
Group project in high school. Remember how like nobody did the project?
Right.
It's not one person in this project.
Yeah. The trick is identify that one person.
And hopefully you can go in. On Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, word.
Oh, I got some out, oh no.
I don't know what's happening, right?
So 17,
17, the responsible agency is EDC, isn't it?
hold on just a minute, the Department of Cultural Affairs,
We want to do.
Art space.
Yeah, art space, Tato La Viera, Julia, Burgos.
Well, city council member, is obviously aware of this.
Yeah, the responsible agency that is EDC, I think.
I think, can it be both?
Yeah, it should be.
Should be both.
Yeah.
And for what for 17, should there be, can there be multiple agencies responsible, or is it?
It should just be the one.
Okay.
With the.
That's it, that's it,
Department
passing the buck to the city council or. to
of
the-
Cultural Affairs don't fund anything in the building. They don't even get money back in for.
Guys, I'm sorry. We're not gonna start from step one. So last fall, you identified what the need was. There's an agency assigned to it, so that's why it reads that way.
Okay, good, but that isn't the issue. The issue is they're saying.
That's understood, but I wanted to clarify the first part.
Okay.
Or you know they know.
So, just to let the lady know, we definitely had time to look at this, so we don't wanna go too into depth. We wanna give Anne something to work with, so she can take it back tomorrow. So let's look at 17 quickly, that's the explanation and the response.
I think it's really good.
I think so too. Any comments that we want to include for the response to the mayor pertaining to 17?
Other than speaking to its high level of priority. They still want the same thing.
You said 4 is one of ours?
Okay, so higher level of priority for 17 and
For
because.
expenses, usually, not capital.
Yeah, but there's.
We're on capital.
Yeah, we're on capital. Look at 17.
17 on page 257.
He said 4 was ours. but-
No,
Yeah,
but
but he
that's
said that
capital.
later.
No, it's not-
We're starting with capital. You just call it.
That's
You're looking at capital, Eugene. So look
Okay.
at 17. No, but let's look at 17. High priority for this
Oh,
one, and because of the attention it needs.
So
Okay,
this
18.
first part is capital spending, right?
Yeah.
Second part.
And then expense.
18. Allocate 20 million to accelerate phase one multi-step redevelopment restoration of Pier 107, enabling ferry service from East Harlem by 2026 before the completion of the Esplanade project. This will bring economic opportunity to the area leading up to the completion of phase two, the Second Avenue subway. Is there something that we want to stress?
Yeah, so that, maybe I'm missing something. We're now responding to the agency's response. That's what we're doing at this stage, right? 'Cause
No,
we already provided what we wanted.
There's a letter response to the mayor.
Right, but the mayor, responding to the mayor to just say what we explained originally is still what we want.
Just an emphasis, because it's. If everything is fine the way it is, again, it's not like, we're not tearing it down again, we're just looking at what the agency responded.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, so almost every one of these things, the agency's response is further study. By the agency.
Welcome to the budget.
Right, so I'm not sure what our response is, our response is, okay, our response is.
Maybe we can
no,
ask for a
finish the study.
timeline.
Right, that seems to be generate this study. Because, I mean, basically, that's their response to everything. Either contact somebody else, or we need more time. I mean, so then we're asking for a response to their response, I'm not cynical. I'm using their words. Is there anyone here that says we're doing it?
There are some.
Okay.
So the responses are generally in the same way that we have to speak to them in their terms, drop down asks. You know, drop down for asks, they're specific, you know, you use their language, and then drop down response. They, you know, they have like 7 responses
Right, I
that they
get it.
can use, so we're not gonna get, if we do have questions about more information, you know, why do you need, or, you know, then I think that's, maybe Angel would be able to say probably.
Please, Angel.
What is the an effective strategy for our rebuttal, right? Are we looking for more money? Are we looking for more information? Are we looking for, you know, a redirection or
20 million.
what are we, you know,
Phase one.
So,
what are we
so,
going to get out of our response?
yeah, so Giselle like hit it on the head, it's emphasis on the stuff that, you know, it's, you know, particularly of import to you, right? But like, in the challenge with this document, and this isn't all of it, right? The budget is 7,000 pages. The challenge with this document is that you do get a lot of these bland responses. So on the ones where you are getting a clear answer, or that you know otherwise, for example, libraries, right? I'm gonna editorialize a little bit. The mayor, since he was elected, has been talking about us being in a recession. We're not in a recession, right? He's been saying it the whole time. And under that guise, justifying a series of cuts, right? To agencies, only to find out now that we're actually running a surplus. So we actually have the money to be able to fund 7-day-a-week library service, for example, right? So we would say to that, you know, we know in fact that this is, you know, that you can do this and you should do this, and this is our priority number, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, Anne Marie, yeah, so because with that information that Angel gave us, right, knowing that there's a surplus, there is money for these types of things, we have to stress our need. Pretty much all of our asks that are asking for money, that's what we have to stress, like, pretty much. Always the, like, the importance of these projects, there is money, there is tax. Okay? We can add that information in, like, those names, like, those words, surplus, all that stuff.
Yeah, the point that Angel brings up, and this is maybe comes later with our items, to target the ones that with a little bit of pressure from the community, it becomes hard to say no. I think there's sort of big asks, and then there's asks that are attainable. If we really want it and need it, and sort of express that, like, you know, number 35 is not necessarily a high priority, but if we understand what the context is, that there's money, we need it, we want it, this matters. I think this is an opportunity to kind of make those, you know, make that really clear, that just because it's it's very, this is still something we really want and makes a difference in the community. Whereas, you know, if it's.
Yeah, no, we get it, like, it's, we don't have too many asks, honestly, we don't have like a
Yeah.
whole list of, so I think. Putting emphasis on all of them, but then I think what Jessica's saying is like, when we're asking for money and we know that we need money because capital budget priorities. We have to emphasize these, you know, the need according to what we hearing the most out there. So I think for sure. La Marqueta, which is number 21.
Further studies.
17, 18. Those are all capital. 20 is talking about 125th Street.
I don't know, because. This is supposed to be like a hub, what's really going on there in that hash mark? Nothing. Oh, that we know, I think.
Well, I mean, you know, Carrie could definitely talk more, but she had 125th.
I think the land was sold back to MFA from the developer, to be honest. Excel owned it and then they put a deal with MTA now owns it.
Right, I heard about that.
The hub they're talking about, the train station.
Right.
Yeah, there's a
What is
lot
gonna
about
happen?
Yes, they're
It says
starting to
here,
dig the
buses,
whole.
multiple airports.
But this sounds more like a hub, connecting all these train lines,
Yeah.
that,
Well, we're advocating to build a hub,
correct.
The point, because it's there right there.
The railroad buses,
That doesn't matter what money goes to.
yeah.
So. Emphasis on. 21, 17, and 19, and 17, 18, and 21 from capital, for capital budget priorities. What was the other, are there any other capital budget? 17, 18, and 21?
No,
No,
nope.
so let's go into expense.
Hold on, so they all high level?
They all have, yeah,
17, 18,
there, we're gonna talk about the fact that there was a surplus, there is money for these second projects, we need it.
how about 20?
20 is, it was the 125th upright, right? I mean, it's one of our asks, it's just like he says, it's to build it, right? I think that the last step is to build it, the first step would be like to just start to see what starts to develop on 125th, because there's a lot going on there, they got some bids going, hopefully. And there's a lot being invested into 125th, we can still give emphasis to it, there's. Jason, you're shaking it. Yes, okay, so let's give emphasis to all of the capital budget, 17, 18, 20, 21.
High level.
And speak about how there is money to invest in these things.
One of the things we used to do was that we had agents down at the mayor's office. So we knew which projects the mayor was at. So we would give them a lesser priority because we knew they were gonna get it anyway. But like the hub here, MTA is behind it. We don't have to prioritize, is what I'm really saying.
Because we know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they want it more than we do.
Okay.
Actually, you suggested for a timeline of this further study, when they're actually going to complete the further study.
They've done the things
Respond to
of
something else.
They redigging the hole on Second Avenue and,
Here's how we want you to spend some money, they're saying, we need to study it some more, so I think our valid question is, when are you going to know?
finished.
Did they answer yes or no?
So we're proposing that, these are our asks, right? So we would be proposing to the MTA. We need this in our community for X, Y, and Z reason, right? We're not gonna stop asking for this because these are the reasons that we need it, you know, so the point is to continue to ask and continue to, you know, but
I'm just saying that one of the things we could ask for is when, like, when is the further study up?
You're not gonna get an answer.
yes,
When?
So yes, but not here, right? So between now and June, you're gonna be working on your drafting up your statement of needs responses and your budget request for the next submission. So you talk to those agencies that gave you those responses that you want clarification on between now and then. But for the preliminary response, that wouldn't go there. You could do that tomorrow, and start inviting EDC, hey, you said further study on these 5, let's talk about this, and we have the following question, and
okay, so.
Mark can kick it off.
Thank you, Angie, thank you. For idea slips my mind. The next thing is to contact the agencies on their responses. So we would have to now contact them via email, get them to give us a little bit more on why they decided.
Right before the EDC, so it's.
Oh, everyone. Contact everyone. Okay, the expense budget numbers are, I didn't grab them from anyone who has them. Number four is Department of Small Business, so provide, expand occupational skills training programs. And their answer was they would try to accommodate within the existing resources.
That's their version of yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. How is that?
Yeah.
You guys learn how to read this.
You know what?
It's all coded.
Okay.
I meant like, we already doing it, so.
So we can move on. So after four is what? For expense.
13.
13.
What do you mean by
Yes.
that?
So like an interpretation of what that means, and we're
What
saying, four.
Okay,
Their response was,
budget line? Budget ID, that's the response?
no, at the end, the
Agency
budget.
will try to accommodate.
The agency will accommodate.
Oh,
this.
over here, the agency will accommodate
Mhm.
this issue within 16 weeks, so that's a yes?
That's a maybe. That's a maybe. Put a question mark on it.
No, to Jason's point, we just have to again reach out and be like, okay, so you said that you have existing resources and you're gonna try to accommodate us. Where exactly can we like get our ass?
So I need to get all this information by tomorrow? Is that what you're saying?
No, we have time, because what Angel's saying is that from now until June, we're preparing our this process for next. Angel, repeat that, please. I don't wanna confuse anybody.
So for tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
you have nothing.
Okay,
And then for the future, you're gonna assemble all the ones that you kind of have half answers for, and you're gonna schedule a meeting with the agencies that have a clarifying conversation.
got it. Okay.
Next expense, you said was number what, 13?
We're 13.
Okay, it's NYPL,
Oh, yeah.
extend library hours, perfect, so.
This is exactly what Angel just said.
Yes.
Thank you, Angel.
So we have money for this, we have to put a big emphasis on this, because libraries are.
Is this another yes?
No, it's saying that the YPL is already doing the advocacy for this in their budget, so basically.
Oh, no.
We have to
That's,
continue to
that
add.
means yes.
So we're just saying, go at YPL, number 13, page
13,
265.
expense,
No, you're in capital.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I'm like, what, the park? It's about the library?
Capital expense, they look very similar.
Okay,
Color coded,
that's what I'm like, yes, where? I'm looking at the wrong. Okay.
We're good. There we go.
Oh,
13.
thank you.
Okay.
13.
13. So extend library hours, we can do this, we have to push the mayor to. Get us libraries in East Harlem 7 days a week,
That,
and expand the opening hours.
yeah, final thing they said is contact NYPL for more information.
All of them.
They're the ones who contacted us, so we know their information.
Yeah, and this one we know the answer. We have to push them for the restoration, because he was bullshitting before.
Okay, so. push them to the
Don't write
resolution.
bullshit.
Don't write.
I know there were a whole bunch of 30s. but
Okay,
this one
the
before.
next one.
35.
30.
35 is the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
No,
35
that's
through
17.
39.
Not 17, right, EDC?
No, 35 through 30.
Most people want money from EDC. that's-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there wasn't.
I'm sorry, you're correct. 17, yeah.
There you go.
17,
One too fast.
invest in planning for transportation oriented infrastructure.
That
So provide money
here.
for.
You're never gonna get that.
I like this one.
That the, passport.
Further study.
Oh.
There's, there used to be a pier there, so they have all the, what do you call it?
Pylons.
Pylons in there already, so, and quite as steps. The area between 116th Street Pier that used to be there and the pier on 106th Street is all zoned for housing. So if they could put a current attenuator on the pier here, that would make it okay for them to park boats there on marinas.
So we're asking for funding for a formal investigation
Into the
into the construction feasibility for the pier.
The next time we get this, which will probably come up again, we should say that they should add current attenuators to the pier. That, what they do is they do this, like, the East River there is one of the highest flowing currents in the city. They call it the death knell, something like that.
That's good.
Okay, okay.
You know, so Hellgate, right? So in order for you to park a marina there, they would have to make the current less. And they do that by putting, these attenuators. on
So
the
that
bottom
would be
of the pier.
information to give to the feasibility.
Yes.
So let's just put that as a note to give to the, once the feasibility starts.
We're just, you know, we're asking here for a boat to stop at 116th Street, so people won't have to drive into Midtown for
Yep.
the congestion. That's what we're asking.
That was the pier on 6.
Would you get,
16th
would you get there from East River Plaza, like Skybridge style?
Yeah. It's on the level where where the pet shop used to be, in the bait shop.
Could we have an at-grade crossing?
A what?
I know what I think they should have, I should put in, they should put in a drag.
We're going 116th. The line that 106. The line that people use.
The zip line.
A zip line, people look out so. It's in the stadium.
Okay, so do we wanna give emphasis? Yes. There we go, we need money for more investigation. Which is the next one, 35?
Do I do it? I don't know. It was a brain injury or something.
The next one, 35?
35.
35, 36, 37. Okay, guys, we're almost there, day 15,
Oh, yes.
we are almost there. Provide commercial lease support for businesses, so that was another yes. From SBS, so we have to just reach out and ask them.
Oldest, 36 also.
Yes, just
Question on the commercial leases program, there is, legislation for commercial rent control, in city council. And can we point to that as the reason why this should happen or something?
That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
An actual response.
And, yeah, yes, that's good.
That's be on the agenda.
Hey, don't make fun of. And so, can you repeat that? Just so that-
Legislative, rent control in city council, en Colorado.
I'll send an email.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
So Jessica will send email to Ann. 36, support local CBO's efforts to improve a public space through management, maintenance, and programming. The agency is SBS, and they also gave a, maybe yes.
That's the bid that's happening.
Okay, that's the bit. Got it, everybody.
Unless it just collapses. Yeah,
And
we're gonna make that shit happen
37.
whether you like it or not.
37 is expand programs in emerging and legacy industries, fashion, film, advanced food manufacturing, life sciences, health care, offshore wind, freight, and maritime. Further study by the agency and its EDC.
You should have them, I believe.
For you, wanna bury it.
You want life sciences and healthcare?
No, I want the film. What's the rest?
Especially this is
Some
a
of the zoning
study in
change
the
will
Bible.
help some of this.
Yeah, that big one.
Angel, what can our emphasis be, or committee, what can our emphasis be here? Because they're saying further studies needed. But we need this, so.
May I ask a question? This is confusing because, the types of industries that are referenced in the request, which is the drop down.
Right.
Is different than our explanation. We're asking for arts and culture. There's arts and culture and science, and do we want one or the other, or do we want both? Or do we want both in different places? I think it's really confusing to have that all in one.
You're saying science and culture shouldn't.
But in our explanation, in our response, you know, there's fashion, film, which are more arts, and then there's, you know, advanced manufacturing, life science, healthcare. And then there's offshore wind, freight, and maritime. And
Yeah,
those
that
are
threw me off.
different buckets. Those are like three different buckets of industry.
Yeah.
So we should identify the type of legacy industry that we want in East Harlem, which I would say.
I don't think we can.
I think we do in the explanation. The explanation is our language.
Yeah.
And the top part is their language. And the category, you're right, is like super broad, but it's like everything.
So we
with the
can't, we
different
can't edit anything at this point, we just.
Not in the request part, but like our ask is in the explanation. So like we're focusing on growth industries.
We can clarify in our response or in our.
When we ask them, when we reach out to EDC and ask them about this ask,
You know,
you're saying that we should,
remember this one,
emphasize-
somebody's complaining about life sciences.
okay,
But wait, is this a place where we're clarifying that legacy cultural, or arts and cultural industries is something we care about?
no, we're answering we're looking at their response, which is further studies needed. So now we have to reach out to EDC and,
We'll have to have a big meeting with EDC.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, you said something just now that I didn't realize. So the request is not what we wrote. The request is basically us, them fitting what we wrote into some rubric they have that explains this. So that incredible range of industries is not what we asked for.
Correct.
We just asked for especially business that are STEM related.
Yeah.
So I
And then
think
we-
that's what we need to focus on
Right.
and make sure they understand that we're not talking about offshore wind here. We're talking about STEM
STEM,
related.
okay,
businesses
so
in
emphasis
Harlem.
on STEM
I mean,
to
but,
EDC on ask 37,
I mean,
Right.
okay?
Well, don't give up the fashion in their home.
No,
That
because it's all,
That wasn't in the
that
ask.
wasn't our ask.
Right,
okay, and you got that?
No.
So we are emphasizing STEM in our ask for 37, when we speak to EDC about.
Is there anything in the zoning changes that we just issued our support for that would actually help accomplish this?
Lots.
That's what I would think, lots. So
What about
should we
the-
reference that? Given that the economic opportunity proposals that just got support of the community board could be, hopefully help them actually accomplish this, I think more stimulated. This is going to be. I'm just saying, it seems to me that the whole reason these zoning changes existed was to basically make
What are
it
you pointing
easier for certain things to happen. No life science. So just like Jessica,
I don't know.
trying to force something else.
What do you ask?
Tie it to the zoning proposal.
Oh, I don't know.
They already know
Yeah.
this, but you could at least say, hey.
I said that, I don't know.
What is it? Now,
Wrong with you.
we're
We're in a
gonna
meeting.
I
Pay
think
attention to that.
this ask will
Just
be
read more about what the other.
further supported by
yeah.
CBS,
Right.
We can reference the rezone.
which we've supported.
Yes, I was trying to leverage our support for it.
Yeah.
Because not every community board is. I know.
Okay, Angel, could you bring up the community member goals that April
What happened to
sent out?
So you finished with this?
38, 39, yes, that is us.
Yeah.
I have a cheesesteak. Other business regulatory assistance requests, small business services, they will try to accommodate, so
This
just,
is yes for this.
yeah, so following up with, SBS and to see what they already have in place for this ask, which is to provide additional support to local businesses to ensure their compliance with the law. Okay. And we're also asking for money. Further funding is needed to subsidize or provide grants to businesses to transition to more sustainable business practices.
I think the pot shops in the neighborhood will really use that.
Okay.
Explain.
So the next ask 39, support immigrant MWBE and veteran owned
No, that's not,
businesses.
that's just a category, our
Our
request is already doing it.
city contracts. That's also a yes.
Do you happen to know who are the people contacting these places?
SB, oh, no, Angel. can
Which
get
says
this.
department.
Yeah.
Whoever is
They
at
can give
the
us,
bottom
like,
of the small
Yeah,
business.
but do you know how many people work there? Like, what my.
Angel can tell us more or less who's contact.
Angel was doing something else.
Places.
in the register of budget request that we extracted this from, the full document of this, it has all the context and stuff. I'll resend it to you.
Okay. So we move on now to our committee member goals. Last month, April also. She made a document, sent it to Angel, Angel sent it to us for everyone to fill out. That's who has filled it out. Whoever has not filled it out, please, because this will help us with our goals. So we can see what everyone is bringing to the table in terms of like expertise and areas of interest. So, for example, April is a physician assistant, public health practice. That's her affirmations, companies and affiliations, and her areas of interest are women's health. I need glasses.
Can I help you?
Yeah.
So with women's health, including maternal health, domestic violence, immigration, and migrant health, holistic wellness. Let me just go on the list and across.
I mean, everyone sees who we're missing, so we're missing a few members.
So we need, Alisa Miranda, Jessica Morris, Eugene Rodriguez, Benny Torres, Jenny Tromsky, Anne-Marie Vasquez, and Jason Wolf.
Okay, and then Angel, does everyone know how to access their Google Drive? Like when Angel puts stuff in the folders.
Anne-Marie now knows how to do it.
So Eugene, April sent us.
Jason definitely knows how.
And unless you were.
If he doesn't know, then we're all always lost.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything from you.
So maybe,
I'll re-forward it to you.
Thank you.
okay,
Of course.
Yeah, you have to go into the Gmail, he's on there.
and your Gmail, and then your Gmail, and then just drop it.
I got first link.
Okay, Jessica has a question for you.
Welcome to a more recent century at some point.
It's not an earthling. It's 8:22.
It's not
Jessica has a
escape.
question, Jessica.
So it was maybe, when I first joined the board 2019, and just seeing the information that's been put into that spreadsheet, immediately. And I made a suggestion, to, I believe it was Nilsa who was chair at the time, knowing that Community Board 8, which is south of 96th Street, has, a Women and Families Committee, specifically geared towards, issues and things that support, you got it, women and families, which is not different than human services necessarily, except that you get this amplified focus that can then bring people together around, certain types of support. So it's something that I recognize how much my women neighbors do, how important families are in this community, every community, but especially here when you bear a burden and you do that extra work. So there's nothing stopping the formation of a committee to do targeted work together if there's a need for it at the level of the board. I guess this is the first time I've brought it up. It seemed like, based on April's response and her initiative to try to understand how we all, can contribute together. I just wanted to share that. So if anybody is interested,
There's a lot of, single fathers in the community that also need that kind of thing. Like my son, he has 5 boys, they all live in my.
families, not
Yeah.
women and families, yeah,
Women.
families. So, I think that it's a way to sort of target our population,
Oh, yeah,
people, us in, from a place that people collectively care, not like transportation, but like the family unit or whatever, so, anyway.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Jessica. No, this is, it's great to bring those things up because that's how, that's how these types of committees are formed. When there's a need for something and you have members that can activate it and spearhead it, it's great. But I do need everybody else to fill it out so that we can start kind of narrowing down like what goals the committee has. That tie into what we actually bring to the table. So hopefully by next month, please, when April will be here next month, so any questions about, anything, or maybe adding another line, or we can add, but, let's get that done.
Sorry, and out of that then will come our goals.
I think so, because remember last month we were talking about goals, right? But it seemed so kind of like general and random and everyone had different ideas. April had suggested to put it in a spreadsheet. First, like state your name, what kind of background you have, and then that makes sense, like, oh, okay, that's why she has that goal, or, you know, it's her interest. And I think that'll make it more, and this is a document that can be continue to be used throughout the years. It doesn't have to go anywhere just because certain chairs or members are not there anymore. Everyone can pick up from where someone else left off. MTA, the next, are we in old business?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Last topic for old business is MTA Second Avenue Subway Timeline Committee Activation. I'm a little lost with the MTA Second Avenue Subway because I couldn't attend the last meeting that Xavier had last year. However, Angel, is there anything coming up that we need to give special attention to as a committee or for the Second Avenue Subway timeline?
So yes. So, I was waiting for the period. On Thursday, the MTA is going to present a project update on, the Second Avenue Subway Phase 2 project, before the executive committee. Our Second Avenue Subway Task Force is also invited to attend, and they'll be presenting on a number of things, including what I mentioned earlier about the beginning of utility work along Second Avenue. Yeah, so they'll have the rest of that this Thursday at executive, 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to move over utilities to redig the hole. That's what they-
Right, so then the task force is invited to attend.
Yes, I already invited all
Okay.
the task force. Yep.
Great.
So if they can keep on the side, I just got a question. Have you met with the community board where the first phase went through?
Yes, they came in. I was actually one of the first presentations that we had, not sure what her name was, but I know a few of them showed up on a Zoom. We were still in Zoom at that time, and they pretty much just spoke about.
Yeah.
Their
because
experience.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Don Pedro, you might remember Don Pedro, the restaurant,
Mm-hmm,
96?
yeah.
They had a rough time once they started opening up. Second Avenue is a lot of business. I'm just gonna say, Second Avenue doesn't have a lot of business like they have
Down there.
above, below 96. So whatever business are there, you start taking the shed, you start taking money with you. So there's very specific, even though they made a presentation, there's very specific items that we need to look at right now that is going to be affected. So instead of us acting in crisis management, we should be proactive. And that's what I.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, I recall, some legislation that came up about a program, and I like to think that it was inspired by our own Uptown Grand Central's mural, grand scale mural projects, which were legal, right, in what they were, supposed to be green boards and nothing but green boards. And MTA will have green boards all the way out Second Avenue pretty soon. But there is a program that is engaging UCLA to have artwork instead of green boards. And if there can be local artists who are, you know, what kind of constitutes, what is that artwork? Is it East China oriented? Is it poetry? So how do we start to ask questions about making sure that the things that are going to be lining our streets for, you know, are inviting and are representative of what's here and are in fact an opportunity to share some of that kind of cultural.
So we can reach out to DCLA and ask them, for the artwork instead of the green boards project that they have already in place, right?
We may wanna, yeah, I'll find the legislation and we wanna figure out where it's at and ask, you know, explicitly ask the MTA, how do we pilot that here now when you're doing the work? As opposed to waiting for the program to come online 5 years from now after we live through whatever, you know, generation green board.
Madam Chair, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then I keep quiet.
Don't.
Then the first thing we're gonna do in that approach is find out what is the budget, because they wanna hire local artists to do the work inside the stations. Now, if we ask them to do the plywood, the blue wall, will that affect the budget that they have for our artists? So I want to make sure that, we don't get burned.
So you're talking about MTA, not DCLA. So you're talking about MTA and you're talking about addressing DCLA or both? Both.
The DCLA can fund it.
Without taking away, but so we got to pay the artists to do the murals and everything.
Yeah, they did mention in, the meeting that Michelle hosted at, Amor Cubano.
Yeah.
They were there, they attended, and they did speak about including local artists.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
No, they don't say anything. By the way, that was already submitted, I'm sorry, that was submitted already, at the beginning of the process. So a lot of the artists were already in there. I just want to make sure that they lack them all in.
Taller Boricua has some of the finest muralists in the country.
In the world.
So does Frida, and they're an organization of 2,000 artists that could, really do nice work there. And we have the Graffiti Hall of Fame on 106th Street, where some of the finest graffiti artists, showcase their work, and you can't get in to see it. They have the fence store. So I mean, that would be a good opportunity for them to showcase it. But what I suggested, we contact, Taller Boricua, Frida. And I can give you and what's his name, who's about the Hall of Fame? What's your friend's name?
Hector, yeah. Yeah, there are tourists that come from Germany all over the place to see those murals and they have markets to it.
Yeah.
We're missing an opportunity there, and that's part of what we want to do for the work.
Okay, okay. New business. And roll call.
You open this one?
Yes.
Yeah, we so it's not on there, but, the state level legislation about, opening up, state jobs to fund, not asylum seekers, but those who, finally get their work authorization. It doesn't solve the problem of getting to that work authorization, which is, I think, what is.
No, the email, she sends an email to, yeah.
That's for.
It's a big, yeah, it's a big deal, and they're good jobs, which is really, so, but it still doesn't solve the delay in getting to work authorization, so.
Because that's not the same, right?
I'll carry that message to all of you.
Thank you.
Or,
I'm definitely going.
oh, no, the letter, we kind of got the letter, okay, and then send it, and then we can vote on it next month. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with everything.
We also have it both in Albert, over the other boards of fire.
Okay, new business? Roll call?
Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. April Autry. Mark Bogursky. Present. Brandon Gillespie. Present. Christina Johnson is excused. Giselle Malave.
President.
Alicia Miranda. Jessica Morris.
Here.
Eugene Rodriguez.
Here.
Vinnie Torres.
Here.
Jenny Tromsky.
Here.
Anne Marie Vasquez.
Here.
And Jason Villanueva.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay, good night, everyone.
You hang out at the club. You hang out at the club.
And who?
You're